Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm Sylvester the Cat here. We are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Merxy Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Let's Play of Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Wii U / Nintendo Switch. So yesterday, we have managed to able to race throughout in the forms of Crossing Cup, despite we actually come second place on Wild Woods, just because we sometimes not very good when it comes to, like, defending ourselves with, the incoming red shells and all that stuff as projectiles and whatever. But regardless of such though, Sylvester, we still managed to get ourselves a 3-star ranking on that specific cup in our own time. So even then, there's nothing need to able to worry about that kind of stuff right now. So anyways though, folks, today, this is going to be a grand finale. Not just this Let's Play just yet though, because today, we're about to conclude the Grand Prix mode while going through the final cup in the entire game. At least if you want to count for a DLC content on the Wii U version. And much like always, we'll select Mario for the last, because either way, he's the main character in the entire series, of course. So even then though, we'll just able to get this thing started. So even then though, we'll select Mario here. And of course, we'll go for, let's just say, Blue Falcon, and as well as, let's just call it a normal tires. And as far as gliding goes, we'll go for, no matter what though, we'll go for, let's go for standard. Yeah, so that way we can able to actually end off the actual Grand Prix mode before taking on the forms of the other modes to show off too. So even then, let's get to it with the forms of the 12 and the final cup in the Grand Prix mode. And that appears to be by the forms of the Bell Cup. So even then though, we'll get this thing started. So like before, like the forms of how it does it in Triforce Cup as well as the Crossing Cup, we have 2 retro tracks as well as 2 new tracks. So even then, the first track we're going to be racing on is the returning track from Mario Kart 7, which appears to be Koopa City, aka Neo Bowser City for those who lived in North America. So, yeah, not much else different around here apart from the fact that, well, of course, the HD visuals, that's one obvious thing. And second is the fact that you notice at the very end of that particular stage, originally in Mario Kart 7, that they did manage to able to add in the actual puddles to avoid, but it turns out that the actual puddles is nowhere to be seen in this version. So, yeah, because it's now being replaced as in, well, you see why whenever we able to, drove towards at the very end of this particular stage. So, yeah, and obviously today's day is the forms of, is it the 17th today? Yeah, it's the 17th today, Sylvester. I just want to point things out. So anyways, though, there's not much else I can really talk about this at this point in time, folks. Well, apart from the fact, though, Sylvester, is that, well, obviously, do you remember any forms of likely a few weeks ago that we just managed to able to get ourselves a brand new trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, which thankfully has fixed, the design of Sonic the Hedgehog, even though it wasn't perfect, but at least it's pretty good nonetheless. So even then, in addition to able to actually have yourselves Sonic the Hedgehog the movie trailer 2020 version, there's also a brand new trailer that's about to be coming out for exactly the same year, which appears to be by the forms of the 3rd SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Or to be more accurate, originally it was supposed to be originally named SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie 3, or in this case, the SpongeBob movie, It's a Wonderful Sponge, but it turns out, recently, is the fact that they actually changed up the actual name for as a subtitle for the actual film. Well, it still usually says the SpongeBob movie, of course, but the actual subtitle for that particular movie, this time around, it calls it Sponge on the Run. Because, back in Junior Forms of 2015, we got ourselves Sponge Out of Water, but now in 2020, which is about 5 years later, by that time, we got ourselves Sponge on the Run. So, and for I've seen the actual trailer of it, well, we'll explain more on that whenever we get into the forms of the Battle Mode videos during at some point in the next few weekends or something like that. So even then though, not much else to really say about that particular movie, but then again, we'll point things out whenever we get to it. So yeah, for Koopa City, aka Neo Bowser City, if you want to call that track in North America, that track is originally from the forms of course, Mario Kart 7, which appears to be on the 3rd track on Star Cup. So And eventually in 2019, which is this year specifically right now, that track will also make a comeback in new forms of Mario Kart Tour. So even then I just want to classify that. And here's the forms of the final retro track in this entire game so far, or in this case from now on anyway though, which appears to be another returning track from the forms of Mario Kart Super Circuit, which this time around we have Rippen Road, which is pretty cool though, because I really love the aesthetics of the actual stage as you can see right there, and it's also because of how the fact that usually it just gets like a whole bunch of toys everywhere, which it kind of reminds me of something related to Toy Story, but except the fact that there's just all, you know, Nintendo projects and all that stuff, rather than just the forms of Disney stuff, of course. So even then, it's pretty cool though, because you can able to see all familiar of these toys in the background, such as the forms of those mini Toads based off from the forms of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, as well as the forms of those familiar carts from the actual game itself, as well as the forms of that Mario Kart 8 poster as you can see on the background. And also, because of how the fact that this particular track was a part of the DLC pack number 2 back on the Wii U days, they did manage to able to include the reference from Yoshi's Woolly World, which appears to be Yon Yoshi, because that particular game did came out relatively the same year as DLC pack 2 for Mario Kart 8 for the Nintendo Wii U. So even then, whilst the forms of the Switch version, that you know, it just gets it unlocked from the get-go. So even then, there's not much else to really compliment on it though, especially because of how the fact that, well, you know, it's pretty cool though, because, and also, that if you couldn't tell, if you managed to able to leave the actual, the intro sequence of that specific, race all by itself, or the actual track I should say, it actually includes that particular Kung Fu Panda reference, because I say that because it actually includes the actual poster for Kung Fu Lakitu, which is actually a reference to the 2008 film, which is of course Kung Fu Panda 1. Because I say that because that particular pose was actually very similar to what Po used to do, and especially notable how the fact that the actual background might be very, very remarkably similar to that. So even then though, yeah. And obviously, this obviously originally takes place in, obviously in Mario Kart Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance. And it turns out it was originally from the second track in the Star Cup. So even then, like, usually takes place, I would say, after, specifically, you know, Snowland and before Yoshi Desert. So even then, I just want to classify that. But then again, Sylvester, we'll point that out whenever we get to, you know, get our chance to able to do, you know, the older Mario Kart Let's Plays and all that stuff from the past. So, yeah, it's a very cool version of this Rainbow Road, and I really love this version in general because, well, again, it just reminds me like I was in a Toy Story world, or even a Toy Box world from the forms of, or the Toy Box world from Kingdom Hearts 3, which is, you know, the recent world I was, you know, fully enjoyed in, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 and all that stuff. Well, we've already, complete the whole entire game. Well, aside from the post-game content here and there, in addition, like, upgrading the ultimate weapon, which we still need to do that on our own time. But even then, though, Sylvester, we'll have to wait and see what happens, though, until hopefully we get ourselves the actual proper release date for the, you know, the Remind DLC for it. So even then, though, we'll have to wait and see what happens there, so... Anyway, so here we go with the new track, as you can see right there, and basically we're actually coming towards the forms of the Super Bell Subway, which basically, it kind of reminds me of Sunshine Airport, where basically in Sunshine Airport, management obviously takes place heavily on the actual airport itself, but now in the forms of Super Bell Subway, basically what that actually is that we're actually going to be driving around the forms of the train station this time around, which is really, really cool. Because even then though, that way we can able to actually just to see how unique that particular track looks. Especially because of how the fact that, well, obviously you know the drill, because basically we need to avoid a lot of trains and all that stuff. So even then, and also because, oh really? Double own it? Well, apart from the actual blue shells of course, but even then, you know, it's kind of annoying though, but hopefully though, whenever we get to the time trials or anything like that, then we don't need to worry about the actual blue shells ownage or anything like that, so... But yeah, you get the idea for that solution. What the hell, man? Stupid Ludwig. In fact, the Ludwig von Koopa was actually in the lead right now, so we do need to worry about that. Unless if we're trying to use the green shell from here and then just try and take a shortcut from here. Well, apart from the fact that we did actually lose some of the speed right here, but regardless of anything like that, then we can hopefully guarantee we're not going to lose to the actual third race again, so... But you know, you get the idea for that solution right there, so even then though, yeah. And I suppose the final thing I'd like to mention about this, and that was the fact that, well, although, I will admit though, for this point, Sonic, is the fact that we're pretty much going to have to let Piglet actually mention about that whenever he gets back into Toy Story 2. Oh yeah, that's right, because even then though, that he's actually, he will definitely need to get back into that at some point on this Monday, or in this case, tomorrow potentially, and then eventually on Wednesday, and especially noticeable for Friday, because by that time until... Tuesday and Thursday, I will definitely say this right now, I will definitely have to conclude the actual Let's Play of, Warrior World and during any forms of next Thursday, potentially. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to the forms of the final track in the whole entire game for Mario Kart 8, DLC pack number 2, or in this case, in particular, with the version we're playing right now, is of course Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it appears to be another F-Zero track, which this time we have is Big Blue, the most iconic track on that particular series. Next to the forms of Mute City, so even then, let's get this thing to it with Big Blue. And I think this is actually a good reason we're actually able to choose Blue Falcon, Blue Falcon, I should say, for the actual vehicle customization for the sake of this stage in particular. Because, I will say though, I actually really enjoyed this version, or in this case, I really do enjoy Big Blue. Because, similar to the forms of how it does it on Mount Wario from Star Cup, as well as the forms of the N64 Rainbow Road in this particular Mario Kart 8 game, is the fact that, just like in those two tracks, it's been divided into 3 sections. It's kind of like the same amount as the forms of how it does it on Mario Kart 7, but, except the fact that, well, most of them, well, one of them from the Retro Tracks department, and then... Wow, 2 of them from the likes of the newer tracks and all that stuff. Oh, why did you push us back, you stupid Lakitu right there? We've always just, trying to actually try our best to able to, hopefully go for a bit, trying to win first place for sure. But either way though, sometimes that, well, we'll admit the right way is the fact that that particular curve always makes me a little bit nerve-wracking at points, because even then, sometimes I instantly manage to fall off on the actual curve part so easily. In fact, that was actually the trickiest part about this stage to me though. But apart from those side of things though, the music is super energetic, and also just like the forms of how it does it on Mute City, is that you also get your coins during the forms of the actual boost patch recovery or something like that. So, but either way though, except unlike in Mute City, where it just usually gets like just only 3 laps in Mute City, whilst in Big Blue it only has like 3 sections. So yeah, it's pretty awesome though. It's a very good conclusion to able to actually just to show off the actual Grand Prix to begin with, but at least we still enjoyed it nonetheless. So, and just like the forms of Mount Wario track, it always stops at the forms of that specific point right there. So, and also like the Mute City track is the fact that once again we can able to hear the F-Zero's victory music. So even then, and I suppose the final thing I just want to show off before we're able to actually conclude the actual Grand Prix mode in this game, and that was the forms of the actual replayability, or in this case the actual replay editing thing, which basically you can able to actually fiddle around with the actual controls for a bit. Like for instance, A is to obviously return back into the menu selection, as you can see right there. And if you hold down the B button, this allows you to able to do a slow mode control. And if you tilt the control stick either left or right, you can either rewind it or just fast forward. And even then though, it's pretty cool though, especially when that's what the actual death stare of Luigi starts to come in. Because I'm pretty sure that's one of the most popular memes in junior forms of Mario Kart 8 game itself. Yeah, which is very understandable, I should say, for this matter though. So, obviously, the actual award ceremony highlight will be, obviously, takes place in Koopa City, aka near Bowser's City from Mario Kart 7. So even then though, because I'm pretty sure we actually did that pretty well though. Yeah, as you can see on that particular ending portion of that specific track, as you can see right there, the puddles has now been replaced as in the forms of the anti-gravity section. So yeah, we basically come across into all 4 tracks in first place positions. So even then, once again, we pretty much dominated, unlike the forms of how it does it on the crossing curve. So, and you know, just like the forms of how it does it on the previous 3 DLC cups, we still managed to get ourselves a very simplistic trophy, just like last time. So, and obviously, if you can see on this footage right there, the reason why we have to cut out the actual main menu throughout, because this will be the last time we're going to be seeing the actual default main menu screen for the actual Let's Play itself. Because just like in Mario Kart Wii Let's Play, usually we show off the actual default startup screen menu, and then later on though we'll show off the alternative title screens here and there as well. So hopefully I hope you guys are able to actually just to show this off. So even then, yeah, we'll show off the staff credits sequence just like the forms of how it does it on Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart Wii, and Mario Kart 7. Well, despite the fact that, well, in order to actually see the staff credits in this game, you must be sure you need to able to play through the Special Cup as well as the forms of the Lightning Cup, because for whatever reason, they just don't simply to count the actual DLC cups at all, which I found was a little bit odd and a little bit more strange at the same time, but screw that, we'll just try to able to add this particular staff credits, as you can see on screen, so that we can able to capture footage from. So even then though, that we're not going to give our final thoughts of the game just yet though, because, well, we'll still save this up until whenever we do the online matches and what have you. So in fact, obviously the online matches will be the final thing we can show off during whenever we're able to finish this Let's Play in particular. So but yeah, you get the idea. So you get the idea, Sylvester. You probably get the idea for that. So because yeah, if you manage to able to complete, you know, the Special Cup or the Lightning Cup for the first time around, you get yourselves a normal staff credit, which I think it's more likely based off from the likes of, even though it's kind of confusing to me though, but even then, I'm pretty sure the staff credits in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, when you first time playing through the actual Special Cup or the Lightning Cup, I'm pretty sure you get yourselves the special ending to the Wii U version or something. Even then, I'm not exactly sure of how can I usually describe about that specific stuff, I have to be honest, because, well, it's been a very, very, very long time since I actually played the Wii U version of that particular Mario Kart 8. In fact, we'll might as well able to still do that if we manage to show off the actual battle mode on that version, so. But even then though, you guys are probably thinking about the fact that, yeah, just like the forms of how it does it on Mario Kart 7, in the staff credits department, it shows off the forms of the gameplay footage as well as the forms of the staff credits people across the world seems to able to make the actual version of this game, in addition with the Wii U version. So the obviously noticeable difference between the Wii U version and the Switch version is of course the actual copyright year, which apparently on the Wii U version it did say copyright 2014, whilst the forms of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe it did say copyright 2017, despite the fact that this is actually a port to the Wii U game. Well, at least they did manage to able to add in some extra stuff to the table, most notably with extra characters, as well as the extra, you know, customization options for your kart customizations and all that stuff, as well as the improved battle mode and or anything like that. But still, I can't really deny about that. So even then though, I will say though, is that it is a very cool staff credits to able to see for this throughout. Unfortunately though, unlike the forms of how it does it on Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart Wii, as well as Mario Kart 7, is that you don't get yourselves the actual massive reward when the actual staff credit sequence has been finished, like saying thanks for playing or something like that. So instead, it just cuts straight to the point and take you back to the main menu, which is kind of sad, but even then, there's a nice little staff credits to able to sit through. So yeah, I guess we'll pretty much get things off here. So join us next time or next weekend of the forms of our Let's Play of Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that is to show off some extra modes, including time trials and versus races and all that stuff. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So see you guys next time for that. Later, fellas. See you guys then.